Morning. Well, it's another beautiful day in San Diego. My name is Jeffrey DeMarco, president and founder of Pyraponic Industries. And probably the most frequently asked question to me is, Jeff, do you do this full time? You know, as I travel around the world, a person would say, you know, I called you Sunday morning, about 3 a.m., got your answering machine. You weren't home. You know, it's nice to have a company as large as Pyraponic Industries and still project a homegrown feel. Well, today, I'm going to bring you behind the scenes at Pyraponic Industries, give you a tour of the facilities, the laboratory, the news interview that I did with Inside San Diego, one of the lectures at the university, and then the introduction to the Phototron to the European market on the BBC's Tomorrow's World. I hope you enjoy it. We'll see you in a bit. And founder of Pyraponic Industries, and welcome to sunny San Diego, home of the Phototron. Welcome to Pyraponic Laboratories, where plants need never have to die. The Phototron is a laboratory-grade growth chamber developed in the laboratory to be a laboratory-grade growth chamber in which there are 21 elements to make any plant photosynthesize. Rosebuds flower 365 days per year in the Phototron and need never have to die. Flowering Nicotiana. Yes, even a watermelon could be grown in the Phototron. Tomatoes, red, vine-ripe tomatoes. Fragrance that will dissipate from the Phototron, and note the internodal lengths and the root systems just before transplantation. Even orchids grow profusely in the Phototron. Herbal gardens, this is a basil. Look at the lush green growth of that basil. Savory, a whole forest of savory. Catnip, look at the bud formation. Even a redwood could be grown in the Phototron. Strict research methodology dictates only 3 kinds of relationships: causal, sequential, and spurious. A causal relationship is when A happens, B always happens. Sequential is when A happens, B happens, C always happens. A spurious relationship is when the Indians danced, it rained. Here in the laboratory, we ferret out the causal relationships between plant physiology and plant chemistry. Random multiple branching of roses occurs in 1 rose plant out of 1,000,000. Never before has it been possible to mathematically predict and compute the multiple branching of any rose 100% of the time. This can now be accomplished within a Phototron using the precise and patented methodology known as growing plants pyroponometrically.
These units can be used indoors all year round. They're perfect for people who are in apartments. They're perfect for people who want flowers inside. They're perfect for people who want a very neat-looking unit to grow foliar plants or flowering plants inside in the house. They give you an opportunity to produce things at a much faster rate and a much more floriferous endeavor in the house than you would under normal circumstances. You get a constant amount of light all year long. Those of us who live in the north have very little light in the winter and too much of it in the summertime. So we're constantly moving plants in and out throughout the house. What you have here are constant conditions every day that you can depend on. It's a solid unit which is designed to give the average home gardener some fun, entertainment, and enjoyment in his house year-round.
I'm a member of the American Rose Society. I have been since 1959. Back up, make that 60. I have been through all the chairs politically in the American Rose Society. I'm an immediate past president of the organization, consulting Rosarian, a judge. I've been involved in writing a few of the books that they have out, and I've contributed to the magazine throughout the years. The love of the rose brought me to the kid in the candy shop syndrome, where I'd want to look at every new rose I could lay my hands on, and in order to do that, I would get cuttings or pieces of budwood from all over the world. I would send people what I had, people would send me what they had, and in order to get them to the form of a plant, I would bud them into a piece of understock, grow them so that I could see them before they came on the market. That way I'd know what I would want to grow, plus what I was judging when I got into a show, an exhibiting situation or a judging situation at a show. The desire to get these more quickly so that I could see them sooner, build a plant faster, led me to this series of devices, you know, as phototrons. And I could bud a plant in the fall, and instead of waiting till the following year to grow, because my winter is virtually 6 months long here, I could get them into a phototron in the fall. I could get them up to size the next year and have a full-size plant blooming in my yard within an 8-9 month period of time, as opposed to waiting for a full year to see what I really wanted to see. I find that the plant puts down a fantastic root system in the potting medium.
When changing two different continuous feeding formulas, we have found a very interesting thing happen. Notice the multiple breaking here of the 3 buds. And we have other plants doing exactly the same way that was treated with the 2 different continuous feeding formulas, and they are breaking multiple laterals at nodes, some as high as 6 at a node. And of course every lateral has the potential to become a blooming lateral.
And this is where it all began. Before 80,000 phototrons were ever sold, now, over 80,000 soil samples from around the world have been analyzed, formulating the most extensive database anywhere in the world. In the brain of this computer is a gigabyte of mass storage, manipulating the most extensive plant science library found anywhere in the world. Pyraponic Industries Sales Department handles over 3,000 incoming calls per week. Over 250,000 human beings from around the world have heard these words about the Phototron.
9 times per year without killing them off, ever. You will never have another growing question again, but if you do, I am going to give you a telephone number to call, so have that pencil ready. That number for price is 619-45... published the first scientific study on the
Pyraponic Industry, hello, is this Bill? Bill, how you doing? Okay, now after going through both that introductory tape and the tape of the price, Bill, what direction are you wanting to go at this point? Okay, Visa, MasterCard, or Discover card, Bill? All right, Visa. Okay, and your card number is 451.
Over 10 years of national advertising, 80,000 Phototrons sold, $50 million accounted for. Your investment in the Phototron is safe with Pyraponic Industries. Data processing, where ultra-high technology is at your fingertips with a smile. Our customer service department is here for you when you need to be heard. Sales, data processing, the warehouse, quality controlled and out the door in 24 hours. That is my guarantee.
For about $400, you can grow everything from wisteria to watermelon indoors. It's a new development called Phototron, and we'll show it to you next.
This trailer now is being converted into the Space Shuttle Explorer. On board, there will be 5 computers, a galley with refrigerator and microwave, sleeping quarters, and of course, a bathroom with a space-like shower. Science teacher Carolyn Stout believes this experience is a dream come true.
I did apply for the Teacher in Space program, and yes, I did. I had interest in it. And it's neat to see students actually have a chance in the future to be a part of a space station.
Stout says in 10 years or so, she expects to see one of her students actually working in space. Alice Edwards, Eyewitness News.
From the beginning of time, man has sought ways to make plants grow faster and bigger and in hostile environments. And in many cases, he's been successful. But now comes a high-tech way of making plants grow, which is so dramatic, it's even featured in tonight's episode of the ABC mystery movie, Gideon Oliver. Notice those strange-looking, geometrically shaped lighted boxes in the office there? They are phototrons, space-age greenhouses, if you will, which do a whole lot more than any greenhouse ever did. The Phototron is made by Pyraponic Industries of San Diego, and we welcome its founder and president, Jeffrey Julian DeMarco, to Inside San Diego. Jeffrey, how are you?
Hey, Bill.
This is more than just a movie prop, isn't it? Tell us about the kind of things, the reason somebody might have this in their home.
Well, the Phototron is a laboratory-grade growth chamber that will accelerate the growth rate of any plant by a factor of 2. This particular model was designed for the National Science Teachers Association. Over 500 was donated to students and schools, kindergarten through 12th grade.
Oh, great.
It calls out all of the parts in fluorescence, showing the electrical system, the clarity of the base and liner for the root systems. It has shelving in here so the children can see the plants actually germinating in germination cups.
Sure.
Then the plant material and different parts of the plant material is called out on the silk screen of the panel itself. If you turn it, you'll see additionally...
Oh, look at this. This is the fluorescent tube that goes in there.
That is correct.
Okay.
If you turn it just a little bit further, you also have all of the chemistry that's been called out for the students so that everything about the Phototron, plants, photosynthesis, is called out right on the Phototron to teach the students about photosynthesis.
That's right in front of them. They can watch it happen. Now, I should point out that you don't use soil in this. It's not a potting mixture. It's what?
That is correct. That is a sphagnum moss. It is grown above the ground, it's cut above the ground, it's dried above the ground, it's 100% sterile, 100% organic. That material is then paired with a nutrient configuration of my own design.
Mm-hmm. Now, what happens if I put this in there and the plants aren't growing the way it's nutrientalized right now?
Well, that never happens. The chemistry of the Phototron is such that I've sold over 80,000 of them. Over 80,000 Phototrons have been sold worldwide, over $50 million worth of this product. Over 80,000 soil samples have been taken from around the world from the Phototron. So that just doesn't happen. There is a data package that goes along with it. The Phototron works. Perhaps sometimes the operator doesn't, but the Phototron always does.
I know watering is very important. Let's go back over here if we can as well, Jeffrey, and take a look. This is a very colorful model here. This is also a school use too, isn't it?
Additionally, children from kindergarten, first grade, second and third grade, their introduction to botany is usually a broken eggshell with a little soil in there and a bean plant that's going to lay over and die. This one calls out very, very bright colors. The yellow, the red, and the blue also calls out the parts of the plant material. Additionally, then, the reflectant soil mulch.
Let me show that just one second. This one actually has the soil in it. And I'm not going to reach all the way up because the light is so bright it would ruin our cameras, but this is tinsel. And why do you have it lined over the moss with tinsel?
Well, the technical term is reflectant soil mulch.
I like it. We call it tinsel. You call it reflectant soil mulch. I like that, yeah.
Reflectant soil mulch has the ability to reflect light back up to the bottom of the leaf. So it makes the top of the leaf and the bottom of the leaf as efficient as the sides of the leaf. So light from 360 degrees, each leaf becomes a photosynthetic laboratory.
Does that make it go faster and produce better?
One of the reasons why it'll accelerate the growth rate of any plant by a factor of 2.
Now, this is a flowering plant, and I know as a person who likes to bring flowers home, you can't grow flowering plants in the house. Why not?
Well, house plants, by the nature of what house plants are what's called low light intensity requiring plants. They require about 150 to 400 foot candles. To make a plant either flower or fruit, you need about 2,000 foot candles, or about 5 times that amount of radiant energy. But when you start sticking 2,000 foot candles of radiant energy in a person's home while he's trying to watch television, it becomes very intrusive to the rest of the environment. So 90% of all the light is maintained on the interior, here, only 10% is released, giving a nice gas lantern effect to the rest of the room.
Now, I notice also that there's something about the airflow here that promotes the enjoyment of the flowering.
Convective energy will generate a wind velocity of over 7 to 15 miles per hour. Any scented plant that you have in there will now scent the entire area in which the phototron is placed.
I got you. Let's take a look at this one finally back behind you, Jeffrey, and tell us about this one, because this is interesting. This is neither a school project or a flowering plant. This is something a little more useful. Go ahead.
What this is an experiment in the laboratory by which everyone says, geez, Jeff, the phototron, it's too small, it's too small, it's too small. In fact, what I've done here is I've grown a watermelon. What will happen then is I'll take the runner from that watermelon outside of the phototron.
Let me just douse this glim for a second here, and we'll take a look at that, all right? I've turned the lights off inside. And interestingly enough, it goes black when the lights are off.
That is correct.
Look at that.
That runner will be taken out of here. All of the leaf material will be left in to photosynthesize and produce a watermelon as large as the phototron outside of the phototron. So you have all of the photosynthetic material on the interior and the actual fruit it's producing on the exterior.
What are we learning from the phototron? What is science able to learn from what you've accomplished?
Well, the phototron resides at over 150 universities, including Harvard, the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Even NASA is using it to grow potatoes and peanuts, for example. It is the only system in the world in which 21 elements to make any plant photosynthesize are held constant and coordinated so that science can replicate all of its experiments. The cornerstone of science is replication, holding 20 elements constant, manipulating one at a time to its uppermost limit and to its lowermost limit, and looking at the elemental impact of on the plant material. The phototron is a telephone booth by which the scientist can listen to his plant material literally in parts per million.
I'm going to do something I don't normally do, and that's eat on the show. But right here we have a tomato that just came out of another phototron that's growing a vine of tomatoes over there, okay? I'm going to cut this, just if I can do it without cutting myself. And let's just see how it tastes. Vine-ripened tomatoes, sweet as can be.
That is correct.
It's delicious.
Can I have a bite?
Yeah, of course you can. Here, in fact, you take that. I'll do it because I don't want to cut myself again.
Thank you very much.
Jeffrey DeMarco, thank you so much. Phototron, Pyrotonics?
Pyraponic
Industries. See, I can't ever get that word. It's high-tech stuff's too crazy for me. But it is good, and it looks like it's really doing the trick. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
Laura.
Well, houseplants may not be quite so particular about their water, but they do need a lot of fuss. And if you think your plants get plenty of attention, what about these? They're the latest in high-tech horticulture, a totally controlled environment for plants that takes the guesswork out of gardening. The fluorescent bulbs are bright enough to give the plants as much energy as daylight. In fact, so bright, these have to be silvered to prevent the dazzle. It means you can grow outdoor plants like these roses. The vertical bulbs ensure that no part of the plant is more than a few inches from the light source, a better arrangement than the usual one where you have a light above the plant and then all the bottom part does get shaded. But the most unusual aspect of this system is the way plants receive exactly the nutrients they need. The answer lies in the soil, or in fact, dried sphagnum moss. To begin with, you soak the moss in a solution made of these nutrient salts. And because the nutrient solution is held in the moss without draining away, it's possible to tell exactly how much of the different salts the plant is taking up, simply by analysing a sample of the moss. And that's not done at home. You send the moss off to a laboratory, and after testing, you receive another sachet of salts to match the exact needs of your individual plant. It's claimed that inside these systems, the plant will grow twice as fast as in a conventional greenhouse. They also seem to grow bushier, with more leaves, more flowers, and more fruits. I think it makes my low-tech window boxes very tame. Well, that's all from us. We'll be back at the same time next Thursday. So until then, good night.
What we're doing is we're offering the teachers now a product where they can bring into their classroom exactly what you've just learned. How a plant grows, why it grows, why this plant produced the cucumber, and to give the children something more to learn.
Sean? I'm going to ask probably some of the people who are phototron technicians to come up and do this. Let's put the 3-day back, put the 3-day back where it was, okay? And take the next one in line, which is a 7-day. Sean was one of our very good technicians, very responsive. Hold it nice. Okay, next to the 7, put a nice big 3 cm. Okay, that's okay. I want you to get the rest of it. Who's going to be next? I'm looking for a phototron technician. How many of you were on the phototron technical cruise? So remember what we did. Stacey, what did we do?
We would water them. We would measure the height each day, and we would measure the length of the leaves each day, and water them 2 or 3 times a day.
What happened to the leaf growth from day 3 to day 7?
We gained 2.3 centimeters.
It gained 2.3 centimeters. It almost did what?
Doubled.
It almost doubled in length, didn't it?
Good morning. My name is Jeffrey DeMarco. I do not have any degrees in horticulture or botany or soil chemistry or plant physiology or floriculture or agronomy or plant physiology or anything like that. I am a criminologist. I work with the Capital Felony Division of the Public Defender's Office in West Palm Beach, Florida. I was the chief investigator for the Antitrust Division of the Attorney General's Office for the state of Florida for 3.5 years, which I studied violent crime and white-collar economic crime. The third area to study is called victimless crime, of which there are 3: drugs, prostitution, and gambling. I chose drugs, and of drugs I chose marijuana. It was okay for a criminologist to go to the University of Illinois Department of Criminal Justice Criminalistics Laboratory and grow marijuana for 2.5 years under federal and state license at that university. So that is the bridge from coming from criminology to plant sciences. All the charts and graphs, then the plant growth chart gives you the actual internodal lengths of the plant material themselves, the distance between the budding sites, the lateral shoot development in inches. You actually draw a chart. You don't grow a plant, you grid a plant. So you get all the stuff back here on day 45 with what? A soil sample. Plants are not genetically linked to death. We are genetically linked to, they're not genetically linked to sex either. You can, if you have all the controls of the phototron, the nutrients, everything, the whole thing, once you have that, what have you got? You've got something with so much control to it, plants don't have to die, and you can sex them. You can even change their sex. You can mathematically compute and predict the amount of nutrients it takes, the amount of light it takes, the amount of everything it takes to produce the opposite to turn it either male or female. And reverse it the next time. And reverse it the next time. If you're going to go back into vegetative, you can reverse those computations and bring it back into male the next time. So you have a system by which you can alter and change in any direction that you want to go because you are controlling each and every one of those elements.